Sometimes art is prophetic, and sometimes I don't know how to offset it. The words too authentic to constantly do what I do and augment it. Y'all talk a big game, can't tell if y'all meant it. As seconds turns to minutes, the ticking will tell all. Will you hold firm or steadily fall? Will you conform with the ways of the world? Or will you give the world everything that you are? Make them fuckers move around you, kinda like sound do. Break out of everything that they had you bound to. You got knocked down, ho, get ready for round two. It's round two. Get ready for round two. Come back, run rap, run laps around these cats, jump back, kiss myself, still keeping me intact. Weird and black, they for that, hold up, steer it back. Weird and black, they revere that. Yup, you hear that?
Turnstile, switch it up. Young nigga raised hard, you learn not to give a fuck. Young nigga came far, still never give enough. Coming with the flavor, delicious, so she lick it up. Bust down, stick it up, I put it down, so pick it up. Scud town, saviors, done some till he shift to Musk. Stench so stank that the shit compare soft to us. Crud so dank, make your face much dripping, cuz club go shake when the bass gets to hitting ya. They ain't really hearing us, but they gon' feel something when the way is paved clear enough. I don't fear nothing but the fate is God really not. Well, fuck it, got the world in my hands, and that's real enough. Fuck it, got the world in my hands, gold forms to touch. Might just spend it all one time to give it all to us. Yeah, give it all to us.
Yeah. This that hip-hop body, rock, hardcore, karate, chop, neo-Nazi, nasty, not feel it in my chest. How could you wear that name? Must be automatic shame. He's an automatic lame, heard it from the best. Fresh flow, let's go, plus I got a lot of heart. It's necessary when you dabble in this art. Grab canvas, paint picture, use them acrylics, paint a picture so vivid, the people gotta feel it like the Kaaba. Lyrics bear fruit like guava, words spilling out of my brain like lava. Spills out the top of a volcano, and they know that A-Right is not the one to play no. I'm Kano in Mortal Kombat, cause the lyrics like blades. Aim it at your jugular when I'm on stage. Until you heard me spit, homie, you ain't heard rage. On another chapter, so turn a turn. Okay, got that out my system. A-Right on another planet, dog, you must have missed them. When I do it how I do it's of my own volition. Go make my destination even in the worst condition. My crew's the Blues Brothers, cause you know we on a mission. Eternity of roses I make bumping in your system. I mean banging it and I'm still hanging in it. I got a gang of wisdom, I got a gang of rhythms, I got a lot of soul. I found the pot of gold, I'm wrapping that shit up, gon' sell it to the globe. I got some game to give them, they don't really want, but they really need it. And I want you to succeed, I want you to be free. I want you to remove every obstacle from being what you truly wanna be. I truly wanna see, and I can only lead by example. So here's a sample for me, so get up.
I would like to be traded to any other team but the New England Patriots.
Big brain predictions. That's what I got.
Take it off, sir.
The Washington football team beat the Steelers.
And that person.
EDP.
Yes, but if we lose this game, I firmly believe we do not need to make playoffs. So
Don't you ever disrespect me.
What is going on, folks? Welcome back to After Further Review. This is episode number 103. I am your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I'm your other wonderful, delightful, pleasant co-host, Shaquille Brown.
And I'm everyone's favorite asshole co-host, Malin.
Put that on yourself.
And right here in the middle, our special guest for the night, we've got Nestor. If you want to say what's up to the viewers.
What's up, everybody? Go Dolphins.
He's a proud man this week.
But he wasn't buying
Yeah,
Green
the
Bay
man, the myth, and the
t-shirts.
legend.
Folks,
This man just had Jalen tattooed to his face on his ass. After this last game. I would have if I was a Dolphins fan. I'd be like, put the face right on the right cheek.
and Nestor's been on, I want to say at least once before.
He's definitely been behind the camera a couple
Yeah,
times.
he's been around a few times, but this will be like the first full show that he's on. So appreciate you coming out.
Was Nestor on the show when I mistook Angel?
Yes, he was definitely there.
He was here, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Still feel bad about that.
We should probably open up the show the best way possible with, of course, our introductory shots.
With the we need rehab in about 5 years.
Yep.
Shot.
5 months.
5 months. I refuse.
Did you get all the cup?
Sorry, I'm gonna just take the shot.
Did you get all the
Jesus Christ.
And enjoy your alcoholism like everybody else on this show.
Cheers, gents.
Oh, we're cheersing now. I already cheersed you guys and drank it.
Exactly.
to
That was
your
what I'm talking
stomach
about.
acid.
Not bad. So you guys drinking that Bacardi Black?
It's just very fucking smooth, to be honest with you.
It is very.
Wait. Oh, I didn't hear. Oh, there it is.
It's good radio.
Every time I take the shot.
Speaking of good radio, if you are not aware that this show is not on the radio, then there's something wrong with you. But in other news, this is live streamed every single Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern Time on YouTube. That's right, YouTube and YouTube only. There's no other place you'll find this live, at least. So be sure to tune in. Click the first link down in your podcast description. You'll be taken to this specific episode. Click subscribe. You can keep up with all the episodes and be notified when we go live. And if you can't catch the show live, as soon as we're done streaming at 3 a.m., the show is available on YouTube right after.
So what time do you work tomorrow, Nestor?
Do I work tomorrow? I think at 11.
Oh, so there's a good chance he might be driving from here directly to work. Workout.
Nestor, I'm going to give you a little tidbit. The viewers at home can only hear you when the mic is right.
You gotta be almost like swallowing.
Let's not swallow anything but alcohol on this show.
You got to get uncomfortable with it, Nestor.
There you go. Yeah. You can get it as close as you want to your mouth.
Okay.
You gotta treat like a certain person treats massager.
Allegedly. All right. We do talk about the NFL and NBA on this show,
Sometimes.
so we're going to go ahead.
Well, but before we get started, I would just like to mention, because I know it's not in the agenda, Jalen, but we need to mention the fact that Aaron Judge hit 60 home runs, and he's about to hit 61. He's about to tie Roger Maris. I think that's a big damn deal. But that's the only thing we're going to talk about baseball. But Aaron Judge is just killing it. He's leading the league in RBIs, home runs, and batting average right now. So just wanted to put that out there. I'm not even a Yankees fan, but now we'll talk about football the rest of the night.
Sounds like a plan. So we will start off with our recap of week 2 in the NFL. And we'll start this with, of course, a game that needs to be talked about.
I'd rather not. Have to.
Shaq's thinking of a different game, but we're going to start off with Nestor's own team. The Dolphins pulled off a hell of a comeback against the Baltimore Ravens. 42-38 was the final score. So, Nestor, we'll start with you, as you are the resident Miami fan. Did you learn anything new about your Dolphins this past Sunday?
They were pitiful. I don't take that back. The first half were terrible, but I don't know they can turn off the offense. Definitely, the second half Tua was amazing. Waddle, Tyreek Hill, even Gesicki. So I don't know. It's promising.
Okay. So you think that they have a switch that they can hit?
Exactly. Yeah. Unlike other years where, I mean, if they're beat down by that many points,
Yeah.
it's open.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Malin, would you like to go next, and then Shaq?
I mean, I kind of feel like Shaq gave Nestor his playbook on talking about his own team because it started off by talking shit about his own squad. You won the game, Nestor. Like, you guys won. And, you know, regardless of the fact that the Ravens blew the largest fourth quarter lead they've ever had in franchise history, which is a big deal. The Dolphins did that. Tua did that. You've been talking about Tua more than anybody else in the chat, talking about how great he's going to be. And, you know, the Ravens were up 35-17. I believe it was 35-17. So what did we really learn about the Dolphins? Well, one, I learned that Nestor's a little bit bipolar because at 2:43 in the afternoon, he was talking about how it's a trash team and he wasn't going to get a go Dolphins. And then less than 1 hour later, 58 minutes later, he was like, "We're going to win this game." And I was like, that sounds
In
a
Nestor's
lot like
defense,
me when I watch sports.
I was going to say, we've all been there.
Yes.
We've all
Nobody
been there.
thought
Sit
they
up-
were going to win.
Sit in the
Nobody
living
thought-
room
Well-
just heated.
Nobody thought the
Apparently
comeback
he
was
did,
happening.
because at some point, Nestor was like, "We winning this game." And then
He
when they
did.
won, he was like, Nestor was like, "I said what I said." He was all about the W once they got the W, but an hour before that, he was trashing his team like, "Forget Tua, trade him, get rid of him." I hate his ass. But no, the Dolphins are really good at running the Madden playbook. Like in the fourth quarter, they ran the vertical, 4 verticals, all vertical, all the time. That reminded me of how I used to play Madden back in the 90s because I'm that old. But Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, did you guys know that they set a record? Is the only 2 wide receivers to have 10 plus catches, 150 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns each.
Damn. That's incredible.
That is a lot. Like, they right now, the Dolphins have the number 1 and the number 3 top wide receivers as far as yardage.
Mm-hmm.
With Hill at 284 and Waddle at 240. Number 1 and number 3. I think Stephon Diggs is in there at number 2 somewhere. I think he's got like 270 or something. But at the end of the day, what I'm really learning about the Dolphins is that maybe Tyreek Hill was right. Maybe he was right about all the praise that he was given Tua. Because listen, man, Tua's leading the league in passing right now. 739 yards. Now, who would have thought that number 2 would have been Wentz at 650 and Flacco at 616? That seems weird.
The hell?
That those are the top 3 passers in the NFL after 2 weeks. But he's also the first quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter since 2015. There's only been 4 other people that have been able to do that. Can you guys name them? No, you can't. I'm not even going to do this trivia.
4 people?
So you have the great Houston Texans backup Sage Rosenfeld threw 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Vinny Testaverde, the University of Miami great, Joe Montana, and Kenny Stabler. Now, hopefully, you guys at least know who Joe Montana and Kenny Stabler is. I pray for the guy that you know who those are.
I don't even know who
but
Michael Jordan is.
Yeah.
He ain't
I'm
real.
kind of okay. You're
Second best
my
basketball player.
5-year-old doesn't know who he is. But I'm just saying that I'm kind of thinking that maybe Tyreek Hill was right about all the praise that he was given to it, and you know this Mike McDaniel's. He looks like Scarface 2.0. I feel like he's taking a line of coke before he takes the sidelines every half. I'm convinced of it actually. Like he's got a drug kingpin going on behind the scenes, but he's taking kind of the Shane playbook from the 49ers, and he's maximizing it. And they've pulled off a couple of impressive wins. They beat the Bill Belichick defense, and then they came from behind large number against the Ravens with Lamar Jackson balling out of his mind. You gotta like what the Dolphins are doing right now.
You can go ahead, Shaq.
I would like to say that it was an amazing game when Miami finally realized, like, hey, we have two of the best receivers in the league right now. Let's actually play football. And they realized that they can actually play football doing that, realizing their offense. Word to say that Dolphins' offense right now is looking like one of the better offenses in the league. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to compete with that because if you think about it, not many defenses can really think of a strategy if you put Waddle and like Tyreek on the field at the same time. Not many people have answers for that. So if they really do plan for it, they can literally go unstoppable in the league. So I was very impressed. I give y'all Dolphins very much of credit for being an amazing team this week. Only because I want the Patriots to do so bad, so I need y'all to keep it up and make sure the Patriots don't do well. That's all I'm saying.
You see, folks.
Did anyone really think that the Dolphins would be one of the 6 remaining undefeated teams after week 2 when they played the Patriots and the Ravens?
They should be, but did any of us think they would maintain that? Absolutely not.
They would.
Well, I'm going to agree with. They definitely have a switch that they can turn on and off. Shaq is turning off his switch temporarily.
He's gonna turn on another switch.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have a switch they can turn on and off. But at the same time, mainly like you said, Tyreek definitely had some truth to what he was saying, and I felt like before the season started that him and Tua would work out fairly well, but to be at this point already, like Tua's leading the NFL in yards is absolutely ridiculous. Like they are actually on to something. He wasn't just saying that just to be, this is my quarterback and I just want to, talk nice with my guy. The Dolphins, I think, for real. And I learned Tua and Tyreek and Jay Waddle are going to be a force to be reckoned with this year, and they've got to switch for sure.
You guys top 3 QBs this year.
I would just like to point out that for 10 weeks, Nestor was in the chat saying Tua for MVP, no Dolphins. Tua is one of the best quarterbacks. And over the last 10 minutes, I was defending the Dolphins and talking about how good they are. And he started off his comments with, they're pathetic. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if Nestor fell down and hit his head. But something weird has happened. If I'm defending the Dolphins and Nestor is saying, you know what? We played great. We set records. And my team's pathetic.
Good or bad record?
So I think
G Money in the chat is saying that's because the Ravens defense left after the third quarter, thinking they had the game won, and that is part of the.
It's Baltimore. That's what they do.
This man looks like he programs computer games.
I would also like to say that Mike McDaniel and Logic look a lot alike, if you ask me. I think Mike Daniel looks like a better logic, but that's just
Leading the
me.
Miami Dolphins.
If you look at it fast enough, you can't even notice the difference. Anyway,
I'm just saying,
Sports show.
either Mike McDaniels is smuggling drugs or he's pimping hoes. Like one of those two things. is happening.
Same market.
When you say that, man,
in Miami.
like,
It's like the same city market. It's all.
It's a change.
you gotta defend yourself there, Nestor. Come on, man.
I don't disagree with that.
It's Miami.
All right, next game. This was the one that we really wanted to talk about.
Did we?
The Patriots did outlast the Steelers 17-14 in a riveting game.
Is it really outlasting? The Steelers game plan is the same way as a 16-year-old having sex for the first time. It's only good for a brief moment in time. It's really not meant for longevity.
That is pretty fair.
I would just like to point out that I was not the one that said that.
I could be this is a subject I'm allowed to wild out and say outrageous bullshit. I hate this godforsaken fucking team. First of all, can we admit that a quarterback position needs to change? It's okay to admit that we were wrong about who should be starting, and it's okay to switch it out.
Continue.
That is
Go
my
ahead and
first
take the-
grievance.
take the
Go
floor.
ahead and give it to homeboy. I don't care how new he is, how fresh he is. Go ahead and transition him back into the game. Let this man be starting. Change it up. Clearly it isn't working. Clearly it isn't fucking working.
Do you think that your quarterback play was the biggest reason you lost this game?
I believe that we could have the quarterback play could have definitely made it. Granted, we didn't lose by like a big margin or anything like that.
Right, not at all.
It's like this easy could be a one play difference and turn out better for the best of us. One turnover difference. I clearly think is a just work out a quarterback issue. We barely won week one. We had to freaking go into overtime to win this
Right.
game. This other team, freaking Cincinnati, threw over 10,000 like turnovers. I feel like came into this game barely lost. Like let's switch it over. Something isn't working quarterback wise. Receiving core, I feel like, is pretty decent, and we can make it work with that. So I'm just saying, I am so hurt about my team. I feel like this is I'm not gonna diss you. I feel like we could have won this. A couple plays here and there changed, and we very much could have been 2-0 in this process, and completely different things. So I'm very upset. We could have changed this. I firmly blame not the fact aspect of I feel like he could have maybe changed or given another opportunity to the quarterback, switch it out a little bit and try and see if that works out better for us. Just my opinion.
Is Najee Harris at running back? What in the hell did you do to this young man by buying him?
Magic. I still
Like,
believe that.
this man's running for 2 yards and falling down, and I don't even know if people are touching him. I don't like. He seems like he's afraid of contact right now. Najee Harris.
He does.
And if the Steelers are going to win, it's not just the quarterback. Now, I will agree with you, and I said from the beginning they need to start little Piggy Pickett. Okay, that needed to happen. You want to know who Mitchell Trubisky is going to be in 10 years? He's going to be Geno Smith, which isn't very good. Okay, so you need to get the rookie in there. You need to have him playing because I still think that Steelers would have won last week regardless if Pickett was in there or Trubisky, and I think they would have had a better chance to win if Pickett was in there against New England, even though rookie quarterbacks don't have a good track record against Bill Belichick defenses, but this isn't your normal Bill Belichick defense. But the fact that he only ran for 91 yards.
Yeah.
And I think this is the second game in a row that Najee Harris has had less than 50 yards rushing. So when you think, like, what was the biggest reason why New England won the game, it was New England's defense. They held them to under 20 first downs, only 243 yards of total offense, 91 rushing yards, and the Steelers only had 26 minutes of total offense. Why? Because they couldn't sustain drives. And so it's kind of like when you hear that, you think like they only lost by 3. So
Right,
if
right.
Pickett was in the game, I think he's just more of a playmaker. You might live and die by some of the throws that he makes, but I don't think Trubisky has been a good factor in the first 2 games. And I think Pickett gives them the better chance of winning going forward.
Yeah, I would love to sit here and say our offense was out there just tearing it up, but that was not the case. We had our fair share of 3-and-outs, but we really forced the Steelers into a lot of 3-and-outs, and we just completely neutralized the running game. Like you said, Najee Harris was irrelevant. So after that, it's like they were just reliant on Trubisky's passing ability, which is good luck with that. So the fact that they only lost by 3 is kind of ironic because if our offense was just a bit more competent, I feel like we could have put up a lot more points because we had plenty of opportunities to do so. I didn't think the offense looked terrible. It looked just solid, but yeah, the defense was definitely the biggest reason, mainly getting rid of Najee Harris. So yeah, Nestor.
I don't have much to say, but I saw a few people say that they were like praising Mac Jones and the offense, which is kind of weird. Considering
It
they
is.
didn't do much. So yeah, like you said, it's mostly like the defense doing the work. So
And like, yeah, I agree with you. It's like it's not overly great. It's okay for winning the game, but like,
I was just gonna say, G Money in the chat dropping a stat. Najee is averaging 2.9 yards a carry. That's pathetic.
it is.
God
It very much
damn,
is.
burn the jersey, Shaq.
That's on there. Release the
You
release the juju out of the jersey.
You already ruined Juju's career. Like, why do you need to do it somebody else's?
I mean, did I ruin
and
it? He ended up on a better team.
No. Yeah. I mean, I think you ruined it for your team. So you want Najee Harris to go to another squad like the Chiefs in like 3 years? But at the end of the day, the simple fact that Trubisky threw an average of only 6.1 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, that was his average. You're not winning football games
Yeah.
doing that. You got to throw it downfield. Like, I think part of the reason why Najee Harris is only averaging 2.9 yards a game is, one, maybe he's made of glass, and maybe because Shaq owns his jersey. But the other one is
Big
that
reason.
defenses aren't scared of Trubisky.
Yep.
They're able to stack the front and defend the run and dare Trubisky to beat him, and he can't do it. So put somebody in that's going to air it out a little bit. Like, what? Spread out the defense a little bit. That offense can be a lot better under Pickett.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next one. We have the Cowboys and the Bengals, with the Cowboys winning 20-17. I don't think many people thought that the Bengals were going to start off the season 0-2. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Malin, how concerned are you now with the Bengals offense?
Well, yeah, with the offense, it's an 8. I'm that concerned. Only because they had a god-awful offensive line last year.
Mm.
They retooled the offensive line. I think there's 4 different starters in the offensive line right now, and Burrow has still been sacked 13 times. He's been pressured 26 times. The offense can't do anything. Burrow's only completing 64% of his passes. He has 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 4 of those interceptions, yeah, you're welcome, Shaq. We all know. Fitzpatrick, all them people. But Mixon, like we're gonna go ahead and throw shade at Najee Harris, right? Let's go ahead and talk about the fact that Mixon's ran the ball for 46 times for 139 yards, and he has a 3-yard average. That's not going to get it done in the running game. Chase is doing Chase things. He's got 183 yards and a touchdown. I think he has like 13 or 15 receptions. But he's the only wide receiver over 100 yards after 2 games. That's not what they were doing last year.
Mm.
So that offensive line is terrible. Burrow's going to get hurt. He can't keep up that type of 13 sacks in 2 games. Like, good God. Like, why are you paying the offensive line if you're just going to let him beat the shit out of your Super Bowl quarterback, like, every time he drops back? I mean, we wonder why he threw 4 interceptions against the Steelers. But I'd also just like to point out that Zeke Elliott last game had a higher average yards per rush because he rushed 15 times for 53 yards, and Mixon rushed 19 times for 57 yards. Zeke Elliott, who we rail against, like, I'd send his ass to space and never bring him back. We talk so much shit about Zeke being over the hill, can't run the ball anymore. They both ran bad, but Mixon ran worse than Elliott did. Like, that's saying something about that offensive line. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah, G Money is saying a 9 because of their O-line. I've seen some bad offensive lines here in Seattle, but Cincy's is god awful. Yeah, I'm completely with G Money at a 9. That O-line, 13 sacks in 2 weeks is horrible. Like, he's going to get hurt again before Thanksgiving's even here. Like, it's just bound to happen. You cannot go down that many times. Like you also said, Malin, their offense was much more diverse last year too. Like, it wasn't just Ja'Marr Chase. Like, Boyd, Higgins, Joe Mixon was clearly having a way better year last year. He was on fire last year, but right now it's like it is just Ja'Marr Chase and Ja'Marr Chase only, which once the defense can key in on him, it's really hard for anything else to happen. So as far as offense goes, I gotta say a 9. It is not looking good. I don't know what. Hey, locker room Joe Burrow, like, in there, start slapping some O linemen in the head, get them together, because he's gonna get killed out there in less than a month. So I'm a 9. Shaq, where are you at?
I'm at a 10. I'm very concerned about this team. We went from the most high-riveting, like, offense and everything from last year to this year, where it was kind of like, this is probably one of the most god-awful offenses we're watching out here in football.
Yes.
Somehow just from one off-season to another season, just bottom. But at the same breath, thank God for America's teams, because I am so happy to watch Cincinnati at the same time bottom out so far this weekend. Like, thank God. And, like, if I can get a team perform my division worse than my god-awful Steelers, I'm happy for it. And if you can beat the Browns this week, boy, we working some sort of magic on in football. But anyways.
He digresses.
Shaq's about to act a team that blows a 13-point lead with a minute 55 less.
Hey.
Left to go in the game is a team that he should be really excited about.
Hey, we didn't worry about this type of things. Past us is past us. We new people now. Okay, we trying to grow and develop.
Is it too early to start the Cooper Rush for MVP talk, though? Like, that man pulled a rabbit out of his ass. Literally, like, had a rabbit in his asshole and pulled it out to go 19-31 for 235 yards and a touchdown. And he beat Minnesota last year. Like, I don't think people are giving Cooper Rush enough credit. I will say this: like, he has a great name. Kind of sounds racist, though. Some people need to probably look into his family a little bit. Sounds very white supremacist to me. So maybe that's why he's, quarterback in America's team. But yeah, Cooper Rush actually played pretty well in that game.
Nestor?
It hurts to say it, considering what they did to the Chiefs last year. So, 10.
Yeah. There's 2 10s, 2 9s if you throw in 2 monies, and an 8.
I thought I was on the high side. Jeez. I mean, at the end of the day, last year, Burrow was still the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, and they made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So,
and
what the offensive line needs to do... Well, yeah, he did break his entire body.
This man's built like a sheepskin condom. I mean, everything breaking through.
My concern with the offensive line isn't so much what's happening to Burrow, because he was hit a lot last year. It's the fact that they can't run block. Mixon is a shell of himself. At least last year's offensive line allowed Mixon to go roughshod over everybody. I think he averaged almost 5 yards a carry. I think it was 4.6 last year. And now he's only averaging 3. That's the difference between first downs.
Yep.
So yeah, that's bad. I'm glad that you're happy though, Shaq.
Oh,
That's
I
not
am
what I'm saying.
grinning like a motherfucker. Just keep the substance.
He's like, man, the Ravens lost, Browns lost, Bengals lost. We're still in it.
It's still a race, my boy. Still a race. Everyone's still fumbling in the first 10 yards. Let's keep going.
Shaq is like, we're winning by subtraction, but
All right.
Finish 5-12 this coming season, but still somehow making the wild card. I'm still happy.
listen. I would love for your Steelers to have a losing record and make the playoffs. But my Seahawks would not be the only team to ever make the playoffs with a losing record.
How ironic would that be? Mike Tomlin's first losing record, and this motherfucker still finds a way to make it to the playoffs.
That's why Mike Tomlin is one of the coolest coaches in the NFL, man.
Because he still strikes me as a man that beats his players in the locker room. That's why.
All right. Before we go down a deep rabbit hole, let's finish this off with the Monday night, one of the Monday night games. The Eagles beat the Vikings 24-7. I guess I'll go first on this one. As far as do I think the Eagles are a legit force in the NFC? I really don't want to buy into the hype because it is only week 2. It's like, calm down. And you know what? Damn it, I'm not. Fuck them. No, I'm not buying into the hype. I do not think they're a legit force. I think they'll calm down. Jalen Hurts is doing his thing right now. It's hard for me to hate on a fellow Jalen. But I do think that A.J. Brown and Sanders and Devontae Smith, they're on a bit of a high right now, but I feel like they're going to come down to earth as soon as I'm not going to say next week because they got an easy game against the Commanders. But I don't think that Jalen Hurts is going to be able to keep this up consistently, unfortunately, as much as I would kind of like to see him do that. But I just don't think he's that good. And this team is only going to go as far as he does.
Not even that far.
Right. So if he can't make, those wild dynamic plays he was making on Monday where he was, scoring touchdowns, going through defenders like with just his legs, I don't see Philly as keeping this up. So I don't think they're a legit team. I think it's just a flash in the pan as of right now. Nestor, you can go next.
I agree, but I like what Jalen Hurts is doing. He's 301 yards?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing pretty good. So hopefully he keeps that up, and I would love to see them be a force, but I don't think they're going to be.
Okay.
I hate the Eagles. I still think they're, and on Saturday, the only team I think they're worse than is the team in their division. But I still think even without Prescott, the Cowboys will still do better at the end of the season than the Eagles. I think the Eagles going to crash and burn come mid-season, end of the season. So and the Cowboys.
Sorry, I just want to say something. I do think they'll win the division and make the playoffs. I just don't think they are like a title contender. But go ahead.
Let's make the argument that no matter who comes out of the division number 1, come round 1 of the playoffs, that team is crashing and burning no matter who they're playing against.
But you don't even think they'll make the playoffs?
If they do, it's a sort of weird wild card spot. They do. I'm more disappointed in the Vikings somehow finding ways to lose to fucking Eagles. That's what I'm more disappointed in. It's like,
yes, I agree 1,000%.
Y'all can't find a way to beat the Eagles out of all teams. Y'all struggling. What does it say about your team as a whole?
First of all, the amount of disrespect at this moment. Like, the Cowboys don't even have their starting quarterback.
And I still think they'll do better than the Eagles.
Okay, come on. That's ridiculous.
So, when I think about it, right? The way they beat the Vikings. Now, I should have known when I was making my ride or die in 5 pick last week I don't know if you guys remember, but at the end of my statement, I realized, and I said it, Kirk Cousins is playing in prime time. And I still took the Vikings. That was the dumbest goddamn pick I've ever made in my life because Kirk Cousins is hot trash in prime time. Now, I will say this, that they beat a Lions team that I do think is better than Lions teams have passed. Okay. And, hey, let's go ahead and talk about the fact that the Lions have the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL right now.
They do.
Okay. Number 2 with 35.5 points. That's only a half of that's tied with Kansas City and only a half a point behind Buffalo. So that offense is scoring points. Okay. I would like to kind of know like where the hell Cook was last week in that 24-7 loss, because how the fuck does Kirk Cousins lead the team in rushing with 20 yards? What happened to Dalvin Cook? Is he still on the team? Like, what is he cooking with? Like, what? Like, is he cooking on a gas stove with no gas? Like, what the fuck happened? That was embarrassing. But when we're talking about the Eagles, this is why I think they're actually a contender in the NFC. Okay. Keep in mind, yes, they play in the garbage NFC East, even though 2 undefeated teams are in there right now. Okay, so I think we can all assume that they're probably going to come out of the East, right? Like they have a really good shot.
Well, Shaq doesn't think that, but I think everybody else.
Yeah, Shaq doesn't, but with all that forehead space, doesn't think a lot. The simple fact is that this is a very efficient offense. Because keep in mind, like everyone's talking about how great Jalen Hurts is right now, right? He's only thrown for 1 touchdown and 3 rushing touchdowns. But the offense is controlling the clock. They're controlling the game. They're not having 3 and outs. They're having long, sustained drives.
Yeah.
He's completing 69.8% of his passes. A.J. Brown is stealing the show. He's making Devontae Smith almost act like he's not on the team. Devontae Smith didn't even have a catch in the first win that they had. That was kind of crazy. But what's crazy is that they have 6 rushing touchdowns, 3 of which is with Jalen Hurts. So I kind of agree a little bit, Jalen, that they're going to go as far as as far as Hurts goes, right? But what this Eagles team reminds me of is a Russell Wilson-led Seahawks team. That, defense might not be great, but you got a quarterback that can score a lot of points. And when you look at the NFC, who in the first 2 weeks in the NFC right now is a world beater? Like, the Bucs offense is shit, right? The Rams got their ass kicked by Buffalo, and they had to go to the last drive of the game against the Falcons to win 31-28. The Niners, even though my Seahawks made them better with Jimmy G by hurting Trey Lance. When you think about the teams in the NFC, it's not like the Eagles are in the AFC. Like, that is a conference that is wide open. And their playing is good, if not better, than most of the heavy hitters in the conference right now. And they were a playoff team last year. So I kind of have a hard time saying that they're a pretender. I really do think they're legitimate, even if it might be by default of the fact that the NFC just seems weak as shit right now. Like, you don't really have an NFC favorite like we have in years past.
Yeah, I mean, we say it like that. I can see that because the NFC is so up in the air right now. I just think that once it's all said and done, when we start getting a bit more clarity on where things are at, I just don't see Philly up there with the rest of them. But could be wrong.
Would you be surprised if the Eagles are playing in the divisional round or the NFC Championship game, based on how all the other teams are performing with the injuries they've had in the NFC? Because we're not talking about the AFC, how that's stacked. Like, would you really be shocked?
No, if they're playing at that,
away from the Super Bowl?
Right? If they make it, a deep run in the playoffs, right now I wouldn't be that shocked because I think they're winning this division hands down. So
So if you wouldn't be shocked at them being 2 games away from the Super Bowl, wouldn't that lead you to believe that they're somewhat of a contender?
I mean, to me, a contender, I got to see you in the championship game.
Well, we've seen Green Bay in the championship game the last 2 years. How much of a contender have they been?
Sadly.
Actually, no, not last year. But the 49ers were in the championship game last year.
Right.
How
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
of a contender were they? Like, the NFC is just fucking wild with how
It is
open
very-
it is.
Yeah.
It's insane. So if the Eagles were in the AFC, nah, you might be the 7th seed. But in the NFC, yeah, you might be able to make some noise.
So speaking of wild, we're gonna leave the recap behind and go to the next segment. So for this one, we are going to all give a team that is currently winless at 0-2 that we think is the best team out of all of those, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is Atlanta, Carolina, Vegas, Cincinnati, and Tennessee. So 5 teams. I think that's right.
Yes.
So out of those 5, which do you guys think are the best right now? Does anybody want to volunteer to go first?
I'll say Tennessee right now. I feel like could be one of the better teams
Wow.
to come out there. Like,
Somebody on Instagram loves you really.
I just feel like Tennessee, if they can get their run game back into motion what it used to be, and like really get their offense rolling, some odd reason. I know we just saw them get their shit kicked in last week, really bad, but I still feel like we all forget that it's still Tennessee. That once I feel like they do get their shit back in motion, they can really become a factor at the end of the day. I was gonna say Cincinnati, but like after really thinking about their O-line problems and their offense, if Homeboy cannot have time to sit there and throw the ball, which he needs, it ain't happening this season. And so it's a struggle. But I feel like Tennessee can really get it rolling. I like even then I still put Vegas as my second place team of teams that can pull that shit together. I feel like Vegas still has a lot of potential. But I'm still gonna go with Tennessee.
I'll go next, just because I went through the process of elimination on this one. So Tennessee is not mine. I only had them win 7 games this year before anything has been started. So right now they're doing exactly what I thought they would do. I don't think it's Tennessee. Carolina, stop it. Atlanta, stop it. Bengals and the Raiders. The Raiders, I don't know. Based on their history, or based on their head coach's history, he wasn't very great as a head coach in Denver. So so far, will it work out in Vegas? I don't know, but going just off the history, I don't think that McDaniels would be very good there. So just going off of that, it just kind of leaves the Cincinnati Bengals as a default for me. So out of all those teams, the one I can see turning it around is the Bengals somehow, some way.
I think,
Go ahead, Nestor.
Atlanta? I'm just kidding. So Cincinnati, I think they'll turn it on. They'll switch on their offense. They'll do better. Burrow's great, and Higgins, and they'll turn it on. I have faith in them.
Amen.
Okay, so apparently I have to be the voice of reason in this godforsaken show. No, Shaq, it's not Tennessee. Derrick Henry wasn't even the leading rusher last week for his own goddamn squad. They got the brakes beat off of him 41-7. Cincinnati has been a shell of himself, so I don't really believe it's Cincinnati. In my opinion, if you want to talk about the best team but the most dangerous team, the one that can make the most noise, if you really look at the stats, it is the Atlanta Falcons. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Now, hey, listen, you can laugh, but let's talk about it for a second. Okay? The Atlanta Falcons are number 9 in the NFL in scoring right now. Number 9. They have scored 53 points. Okay. They lost to the Saints. I get it. Okay, 27-26. They lost to the Rams 31-27. But Mariota has completed 63% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's great. Cordell Patterson is rushed for 160. Yeah, this man who used to be a wide receiver is now a running back. Has a 5-point rushing average, which I would like to point out is 2.1 yards better than Najee Harris, who's supposed to be a Falcon child back. He's rushed for 161 yards. Who I'm really impressed with, though, on Atlanta is Drake Landon. 13 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown so far. And like I said, number 9 in scoring at 26.5 points a game. You want to know who's number 13, not even the top 10? That would be Vegas at 21 points a game. Okay, they're almost a touchdown better than Vegas right now. The Jets in Carolina are tied at 15th at 20 points a game. You want to know who's a whopping 19th in the league in scoring right now? That would be the Cincinnati Bengals. That's how inept that offense is right now.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're talking about like the best team right now that's 0-2, it could be the most dangerous and probably has the best chance of winning next week, even though they play my Seattle Seahawks. I got to go with the Atlanta Falcons because they're scoring points. And they're in games late. They're not getting blown out. And their offense is actually moving the ball. They're actually scoring points. In the NFL right now, if you score points, you have a chance to win. And the other teams are not scoring points. Atlanta is scoring points. So it sounds asinine to think it, to say it. I understand it. But the stats back it up that the Atlanta Falcons are the most dangerous 0-2 team right now in the NFL. Now, when I say that, I don't think that any of those teams, any of those 5, are actually probably going to make the playoffs. But Atlanta, to me, has the best chance of like making some noise here in the next few weeks.
You know, when you put it that way, it's like, okay, on paper, they probably are. I'm not going to lie, outside of Mariota, Kyle Pitts, and I forgot that Patterson even existed, I can't name a single other Atlanta Falcon, but that's just where we stand right now. I do want to read some of the comments that we had on social media for the people that answered this question, which was posted on TikTok and on our Instagram, which we had folks saying, Raiders, Titans, Raiders, Bengals, Titans, Panthers, Raiders, Panthers. A lot more Panthers in there than I thought there would be. And then on TikTok, Bengals, Raiders or Bengals, Raiders, Bengals. Someone said, as a Falcons fan, it's the Bengals that the only people learn how to type. It's the Falcons. That's Falcons fans ain't the Bengals. So surprisingly,
so
nobody said the Falcons.
It seems that I'm the only smart one that actually looked at the stats. Like, Shaq said the Titans because the Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC last year for some godforeseen fucking reason. We don't know how the fuck that happened. And everyone else is saying the Bengals because they made the Super Bowl last year. Okay. The Raiders, they made the playoffs. That's cool. They couldn't even beat the Arizona Cardinals. They got their teeth kicked in the week prior. Like, the Atlanta Falcons are the only ones that have been within a touchdown of both of their games that they played. They lost by 1 point, and they lost by 4 points to the Rams, which is the defending Super Bowl champion. And like I said, they've scored 53 points. They're in the top 10 of scoring offenses in the NFL right now. And they'll probably be top 5 after they play my Seahawks.
Somebody said Titans, and then someone replied to them and said, man, don't lie to yourself. Bottom 5 offense and trash defense.
Again, if Derrick Henry cannot even be your leading rusher in a game, I mean,
You're not going
come
anywhere.
on.
G Money says Vegas because they went out and got Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones and they haven't won. He also says has any Bill Belichick offensive or defensive coordinator ever been successful as a head coach? Brian Fool.
Wait a minute. How can he say it's Vegas
And then the
in
next-
the next thing say what New England coordinator has ever done anything in the NFL? I mean, what did McDaniels do in Denver?
Right. That's why I can't pick Vegas. I would say them, but I just can't do that.
Well, they have a lot of pieces, but they haven't played well.
Yeah.
They have not played well.
Yes. So we're gonna go to a break. When we come back, G Money will be here, and we will do our L's of the week and the ride or die in 5. So stay tuned.
55?
25.
I thought you said 55. Did you say 55?
5 Mars minutes, which is like 5 weeks or something. I don't know.
Five's probably
so
more
we-
accurate.
So we doing like a trip around Shaq's head. Right there, bye.
5 trips around Shaq's head.
If we do that ride or die in Shaq head trips, some sort of
Shaq orbits.
Shaq got all. Shaq is taking up all that mass on the earth right now with his head, and he picked Tennessee as like, I love that everybody know that.
That's exactly why we got.
Jalen's gonna have to upgrade his pad, like to where he has more space.
That's exactly why we got to go back and leap forward and backward in time every couple of years. So,
Well, if anyone's capable of doing it, it's you, Shaq. You just go ahead and do a dab, and you're probably in the past. So we got this.
All right, why don't we transition to a break?
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go to a break. 47. Let's go ahead and
That's exactly why the show is 3.5 hours long.
We'll be back.
That's exactly why the show's longer than it should be.
Come slide, come ride with a young nigga. East side, all times, know you done sun south, big things, nigga. You and I, you and I, you and I, yeah. Give no reply, no reply, no reply.
Hey there, After Further Review fans. We got a question for you that's bigger than Shaq's goddamn forehead. So here we go. Who, in your opinion, is the most underrated player heading into this year's NFL season? Is it a kicker like Justin Tucker? Is it a wide receiver like Keenan Allen? Is it the backup running back on your favorite team that probably sucks? You let us know who is the most underrated player in this NFL season, and we'll let Shaq know. Bye.
You're not ready. Spend the night with me. It's always another day. Praying in on my parade. It seems like you're scared. What I wanna do to you, I wanna go to bed. So scared. Damn, baby. Whoa. It's always another day. It's always another day. I'ma put a Marvin Gaye. I'll push the bottle away for you. Oh, yeah. Stop me when I'm getting bored. I'm your little sister hard. Wake up with me in the morning and say, you don't regret it, baby. What I gotta prove to you.
Who led the AFC in reception yards?
Tyreek Hill.
Incorrect.
Just say an answer. Somebody.
Who is Jamar Chase?
There we go. 200 to G Money.
NFC for 200.
This person led the NFC in reception.
Who is Cooper Cup?
Correct.
Alex, I'll take your mother for 200.
This team had 3 players on the top playoff reception leaders list.
Buffalo Bills.
Correct.
You are the Los Angeles Rams.
Incorrect.
Is Kansas City?
Correct.
How many points was that?
This person led the Bills in playoff reception yards.
Come on, man. There's a number. I know it's 13.
Oh, you did get it right.
Yes.
Gabriel Davis.
God damn it. Yes, Gabriel Davis.
1,000 from right under Shaq's nose.
How you doing now?
We're over here guessing jersey numbers.
Did you know AFR is also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts? Click the first link in the description below to listen to the most recent episode of the show.
You cannot dispute it, man. I have a more complete team than you.
I already given it to you, Malin. I already said you had the best squad out here.
I heard you, and that took a lot for you to say.
You have the most complete team, but I wouldn't say you have the best team.
What team is better?
All right.
Oh my God.
Ignorance. Oh, y'all, ignorance.
Shaq still thinks this team is good. He has Bam Adebayo and James Harden.
So? James Harden is still good, okay?
All right, tell the 76ers that.
Y'all took my first 2 or 3 big men that I wanted. Stop it. Besides my y'all,
you had the first pick.
I know, but I didn't think y'all were gonna choose big men heavy off the jump off big.
Well, he was the MVP.
The NBA, there's not a lot of big men in the NBA.
I assumed y'all were gonna be those type of people who go choose guards and forwards heavy. So I was like, maybe I have at least one. I had at least one round.
You thought we were all stupid, huh?
No, that's all I said.
I thought we were all dumb as him. I would just like to point out one more time that Shaq and What's Up With That was trying to sell us
on Zion.
How this man actually looks like he slimmed down, actually put on a little bit of muscle tone, and can actually be like a powerhouse of a center.
On freaking
And
Zion.
here we are. And here we are.
Y'all would
we needed a big man.
Y'all would have judged me for picking Zion. Zion has not played in almost 2 seasons. That man has not played basketball in about 2 seasons. Don't let me pick this man.
That man went with Odebayo over Zion.
Yes. You know why? Because that man played.
Shaq's a sly June. Just keep talking about.
Zion,
Hey, come on, look at Zion. Look at how
I
good he is.
try to sell you.
Come on, I ain't trying to have.
I am the used car salesman of the basketball world. Look at him, bro. He's there. You got a family of 5? I can stick them in here. Family of 5. Drive 'em around town.
What you did was you had 2 choices. There was like a 2020 Tesla that was broke down on the side of the road that just needed a new battery in Zion, and you went for the '86 Buick Cutlass. Like that's what you did. Like you went for old reliable.
Like this man wasn't on the third best team in the NBA this past season.
Can we stop with the third best team statistic?
Why are we hating on me for choosing LeBron as like one of y'all would have chosen LeBron if it was still available?
Shaq had the first pick, and I knew 12 hours ago he was taking LeBron James.
True or untrue? Would y'all have chosen LeBron if he was still available at some point in a team? Stop lying to me. Stop lying to me.
I would not have taken LeBron. Nope.
Why y'all sit here bold-faced lying to me? This is not an audio podcast. This is video. People are watching us.
Hold on. My first 2 picks were Giannis and Joker, and they still would have been my first 2 picks.
Yep.
LeBron James is still available.
But would you have not chosen LeBron if he was still available at some point?
Nope.
Maybe a 3rd pick, but that would have been like pick 12. Number 1.
Okay.
If I could have any 2 picks, I would have taken the same as Malin's, Giannis and Jokic first 2.
It was great
episode 90. Thank you y'all for watching.
Shut it down.
Shaq Six Man would have been the barbershop show that LeBron James does. That would have been his.
He'd have taken the shop number 6.
He'd have taken the shop. That would have been the 6 pick. He probably thought that came with LeBron James.
Like, hold on, Shaq, that does not count. And Nike shoes and Blaze Pizza.
I get the LeBron 12s. I don't even know if LeBron has 12 shoes, but he gets.
Welcome back to the show, folks. If you guys could only hear what we hear in those 7.5 minutes.
There, my forehead, the Captain America shield.
That's a good shield right there.
Vibranium times 2.
We've got G Money returning once again. What's going on, G Money?
Hey, yes, another day. Hopefully, you all did better than I did in the Ride or Die last week. I don't know what the fuck I did. I think I was stoned. I think I was drunk. Hell, I think I was picking maybe the Premier League. I don't know. But I sure as hell wasn't picking winners in the NFL.
While you were saying that, Shaq was giving an interpretive dance.
Saw that.
Exactly why you need to be watching the show instead of just listening because you missed
I don't
all
know
of
what
that.
that wiggle was.
Yeah, nobody should be submitted to seeing that wiggle.
Oh, that's what you get. High quality podcast material right there. Not only you get sports information, you get interpretive dance. What more do you want out of this?
What is this, a friends only thing?
All right.
Folks, if you would like to participate in the next AFR poll, or whenever we pose a question to you guys, you should follow us using that big banner at the top of the screen where in plain English it says at AFR Sports. We will be posting a new video every single weekday on Instagram and TikTok. So be sure to follow us on both platforms. We're feeling generous, maybe a little Facebook in there. But anyway, every single day at AFR Sports, be sure to check us out. It's free. It's fun. It's fantastic. So there you go.
If you're lucky, I might invite you on the show here or there. Sometimes
Yeah, you had a good take.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we want to hear from the people.
Right, we are a show of the people.
Same people that voted.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, okay, not those people. I want to be clear about people. We are the We of the People show of record. So we want to hear the dumbass takes that other people
Ready
have.
to go?
And they're only dumb if they don't agree with me. If they agree with Shaq, then yeah, you're not smart. But yeah, we do want to hear what the people say.
And here I am,
We
100
wanna
plus
hear
weeks later. So,
yeah.
Speaking of dumb, we should all take this second half shot.
Number senses
Damn
of
right
brain
we
cells
do.
more. Yeah, man, sorry. Do you not watch the show?
That's
There's
true.
a minimum
this
2
show
shots
works.
per. A minimum 2
Come
shots per
on,
week.
master.
Oh, you definitely took up the whole cup.
My 2 brain cells need these 2 shots right here.
Cheers,
Shaq, you gotta
gentlemen.
have a hell of a lot more than 2 in that head of yours.
I know it's called mansion size for 2 people.
That's depressing.
You know what that just made me think of? Like Michael Jackson's Never Never Land. As Shaq said, yeah, got one sick ass individual with a lot of legs. Right? I'm not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. King of Pop. Let's go. I'm not gonna go there. We're about to get canceled.
Allegedly.
All allegations, never proven in court. That's all I'm saying.
To get canceled.
If it was never proven in court, it never happened.
Ask our Kelly.
Me and Bill Cosby is never proven in court.
My employer's on that hat. This needs to be on there.
Just thought about that.
Proven in court, Shaq.
Jones like, I got a family to support. I'm going to Go ahead.
I do not sponsor.
This is a fictional show.
Fictional opinions.
Wasn't in prison.
My head is Rikers Island. Don't you worry about what.
Rick, I expect to see Shaq in the next Minions freaking movie.
It's all right. Look, this
It'll be
show.
like one of those spaceships.
This show is as guilty as Casey Anthony. We don't worry about that type of thing.
We're just bringing out everybody.
Well, I mean,
Christ.
does it need to be proven or court or not?
No,
Shaq?
just ask
Because
Kobe.
Casey Anthony
It
was
is a
not
guy.
Good God. He talks about innocence like Bill Cosby wasn't in prison, and talks about Casey Anthony like they weren't found not guilty. Like, good God, Shaq.
Exactly. This show's wonderful. We do all types of fucked up shit, but guess what? Innocent at the end of the day. It's like Casey Anthony.
I like your thinking.
Mike Zuckerberg. It doesn't matter what you carry on your person, you threaten it.
Yeah. Casey Anthony, folks. Central Florida's finest.
I was like, we Floridians. This type of shit, remember?
Okay. What were we talking about?
Something about sports. Something about sports.
We're talking about the L's of the week.
That's why this second half of the show takes twice as long as the first half of the
Yeah,
show.
we'll be 3 a.m.
And this time it's not my fault. It's Shaq's fault.
All right. Okay.
L's of the week, folks. This is where we highlight some of the worst losses that were suffered this past weekend. We have to start with an absolute travesty in Cleveland.
That's so sad, like his team did just win.
He's used to his team being in the
I have a good
second.
take. I have a good take on this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Browns managed to lose after leading the Jets 30-17 with only a minute and 55 seconds left in the game. I'm sure a lot of people turned this thing off. Game over. That's that. But somehow Joe Flacco led the New York Jets down the field and they beat the Browns in Cleveland. And that was that. Unbelievable.
I'm going first on this dumbass game. There's only one person responsible for snapping an NFL record 2,229 games where a team leads by 13 points with a minute 55 left. I don't know who that one person's fault is. Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
He is the reason why they lost. They were 1st and 10 at the 12. The Jets had no timeouts.
Yeah.
Slide. Kneel down. They can't stop the clock. You run for the touchdown. You give the Jets back the ball, and then all mayhem consumes after that. So it's totally on Nick Chubb not having the awareness. Maybe not just Nick Chubb. Maybe it's the whole goddamn Cleveland Browns as a whole. Like, how do you not have that in your quarterback's ear is the play caller? Hey, tell Nick Chubb to run the ball, but stay in bounds. Get tackled because we can close the game.
Yeah, game over.
Yeah, like Nick Chubb runs for a touchdown. The Jets get the ball. They score a touchdown because Joe Flacco was channeling himself from 8 years ago when he was the Raven beating the Browns. Because he was 6-0 against the Browns when he was a Ravens quarterback. And then they get the onside kick. Of course, they got the onside kick. Like, how many? Jesus Christ. And then they score it another time, and then they get an interception in the game. But the Jets never would have gotten the ball back if Chubb just would have gone down in bounds, let the clock run. The game would have been over. That is one of the worst decisions a running back has made, but as I'm talking about it, you got to blame the coaching staff that they didn't have the situational awareness to put that into Jacoby Brissett's head. Hey, tell Nick Chubb, just stay in bounds, don't score, we win the game. Like, Stefanski, what the fuck? So, yeah, it's the most Browns thing. They deserve that L after putting a fucking Keebler elf on the 50-yard line anyways. They deserve the L and every L they get after that. That was just fucking asinine. The way that they mismanaged a game with 1:55 left.
Yeah.
First and 10, no timeouts for the other team. What the are we doing?
I didn't watch this game live. I had to go back and watch it after the fact. But coming to that last 2 minutes or so, I remember thinking, how did they lose this game? And then watching it just break down as it was just completely ridiculous. But yeah, if Chubb just slides down, takes a knee, whatever, game over. Like that is the rest of the game right there. For whatever reason, that didn't happen. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck the elf is doing in the middle of the stadium. I don't know what the Browns lore is to tie that in, but I don't care to find that out. So I don't know if you guys have any takes on this.
You don't want to tell me what that is? So back in the 50s, they were trying to sell tickets, so they came up with some dumbass mascot to sell tickets, and they came up with fucking Keebler elf, or whatever elf it is. And that's how they came up with that goddamn mascot, to sell tickets. And they didn't use it again after like 2 years. So why they brought it back now, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
I don't understand.
I'm just happy the Browns remember the Browns again. I was like, let me be ignorant like all my fans and go ahead and lose this game when it's not physically possible to lose this fucking game. Or any other team in the NFL just about would have won this game. Yeah. The Browns became the Browns, channeled the inner self, and lost the fucking game. You know what, Browns? You keep doing what you're fucking doing. It does not bother me or faze me one bit. I'm happy that y'all remember that y'all ain't shit. That when your main quarterback ain't too busy getting jerked off by massage parlors, he's sitting at home, chilling, just watching.
Allegedly.
All right.
I think this is 3 weeks in a row where Shaq said jerked off on the
show. And every time, I feel like every time Shaq says something, Jalen has to say allegedly.
I just want to make sure we put that out there.
We're starting on thin ice here.
He's trying to defend the show as much as possible. Like YouTube is some reason tuned into our show and trying to make sure our show's behaving.
If you allegedly got jerked off, Shaq, wouldn't you want the allegedly in front of it?
First of all, my first problem is I got no shame. So if it happened, it happened. I'm sorry. There ain't no apologies going on. Just let y'all know it happened, and I'm sorry.
We know enough about Shaq's personal life that that's not happening. He's doing other things.
There are no allegedly or apologies going on. There's just it happened. It is what it is.
God, man. Jalen, you almost made me inhale the cigar smoke. That hurt so bad.
I'm the type of person I would like to feel like that. I would just make the go ahead and apology ahead of time. It's like, I want to let y'all know, even though this hasn't come out of the news yet, but
I just like how Shaq is so happy this year because he probably knows that Deshaun Watson is going to whoop everybody's ass in that division next year, including his Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, look, as long as I get it in while I can this season with my team, that's all that matters.
Get it in while I can.
Exactly. Be an opportunist. Opportunist. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one. So the Jacksonville Jaguars did blow out the Indianapolis Colts 24-0. Pretty sure I predicted that the Jags would win this game at home. I didn't think it would be a blowout, but here we are. 24-0. Any thoughts on this one?
What the fuck do we care? That's your question.
This division is so awful.
It's the Colts and the Jaguars. Why do we fucking care? Two teams that nobody in the world really worries about, but whatever.
The only question I have about after this game is why did the Colts want to get rid of Wentz? Because he threw 3 interceptions against the Jaguars? Yet Carson Wentz is number 2 in passing yards in the NFL, and Matt Ryan is 16 for 30, 195 yards and 3 interceptions against the Jaguars, getting the brakes beat off of them for the second year in a row. What the hell? The only thing I will say positive about the Jaguars is that Golden Boy Lawrence, 20 of 35, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. They seem to be doing something right when it comes to his development, and I hope that continues because he does have a lot of talent, and I don't want his talent to be wasted like Indianapolis wasted Andrew Luck's talent. So I would actually like for the Jaguars to end up being a decent team because I do like Trevor Lawrence.
It's the who's the tallest midget competition out of these two teams. It's really not.
You don't want to see Trevor Lawrence and the Jags do well?
I want to see Trevor Lawrence do well, but not on the freaking Jags. This man needs to go to.
Well, he'll be there for a while.
This man needs to find a way to finesse his way to a different team.
I mean, it's Jacksonville. They need something.
No, they don't. Have you ever been to Jacksonville? Have you been to Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Not a damn thing.
I don't want to say that.
Ain't not a damn thing positive needs to happen to that city other than
I need something.
Like that man's living pleasant in Jacksonville. That man doesn't live there. That man travels, but there.
I would just like to remind Nestor that the Jaguars have been the 2 AFC championship games since the Dolphins last went to an AFC championship game back in 1994, so they do got that going for them. But G Money was about to say something before I went off about Matt Ryan.
So Indianapolis should indeed petition the league not to play in the state of Florida. They are 2-7. Anybody know when the last time they beat the Jags? Yeah, I don't either. That's how long it's been.
Well, it wasn't the last 2 years.
Okay, it wasn't the last 4 years. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're changing the quarterback every other year. Maybe, just maybe, they change the fucking owner. I mean, he needs to stop doing coke off some midget hooker's ass and actually figure out what type of team he wants.
I didn't see you going the midget hooker's ass, but I definitely agree with you. What I will say is that I think it's crazy that Andrew Luck got so tired of getting beat up in Indianapolis that he was like, fuck y'all, I'm retiring. And the Colts have gone Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. And they think that they're going to make themselves a Super Bowl contender every single year.
Jacoby Brissett was even in there at one point.
Well, he was there because Andrew Luck retired.
Yeah.
I just want to say.
Andrew Luck was only supposed to miss a few weeks that year. Then he was like, nah, man, it's preseason. I was like, what the fuck y'all doing? I'm out. I'm not getting my ass beat again. So then they went Jacoby Brissett, which is Brown's favorite, Shaq's. But then they went Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. Like, who the fuck are they going to get next? Like, what over-the-hill quarterback is going to go to that team next?
Tyrod Taylor.
Because well, no, Tyrod Taylor is too busy suing the LA Chargers. But like G Money's, like Irsay's, taking lines of coke off of a midget stripper's ass, thinking, you know what? Let's bring Cam Newton back.
There's one.
Let's do. He's gonna be like, you know what? Let's get Aaron Rodgers in here next year. Let's find somebody.
Go ahead, Shaq.
That's over the hill.
I just want to say that I had a young lady stop talking to me because her family was a big Jacksonville Jaguars fan. And I told her, we're in a recession. Tell your parents to save their money and stop buying season passes.
I thought you were going to say that they should sell the team.
No, I told her, tell your family to stop buying season passes to the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars. We're in a recession. Never heard from her after that. I'm sorry that I tried to...
At the end of the day, is it not crazy that it's only been 5 years since the two-tone Jacksonville Jaguar helmets went to the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles?
And that was a great game too.
Yeah, that was great for you.
Two-toned is a hook.
But you know what's really funny about that team that lost to the Patriots is that the two best players on the Jaguars were Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Fournette.
Yep.
Both of them have won Super Bowls with the Buccaneers and the Rams since then. That's fucking crazy. So the Jaguars are really good at drafting talent outside of talent. So maybe you're right, Shaq. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is going to go to another team and win a Super Bowl, which is a lot with the. I mean, hey, it's not without precedent because the Buccaneers did that for over 30 years.
Yes, this is because
unfortunately, Williams, Steve Young.
Tampa is the best team in Florida. As bad as we want to say, I'm sorry, Nestor.
What?
Tampa is the best team in Florida.
No.
I'm not talking about just this year alone. Not just this year alone.
The show was 4.5 hours long.
Yes. Not just this year alone. I'm talking about overall.
No,
definitely.
Okay, no. The Miami Dolphins have an undefeated season.
Are we going back to when about 3/4 of the show ain't alive? We're gonna talk about undefeated season.
I will go back to when I was
Yeah, we are because they're the only undefeated team to ever
Most
win the Super Bowl.
most of us were in a testicle when you're talking about undefeated season.
First of all, your dad wasn't even in his dad's testicle when the Miami Dolphins went undefeated.
We're over here talking about a man that don't know his testicle.
And first of all, that forehead, that had to be a big ass testicle. That shit was swollen shit. But the Miami Dolphins is the best team to come out of Florida. You cannot say it's the Bucks. That's revisionist history.
What are we talking about?
I don't know at this point. All I know is that Shaq was trying to say the Bucks are the best Florida team in Florida history, and that is the Miami Dolphins. I had to defend you there, Nestor.
Appreciate it.
And I feel bad. I feel bad for Shaq's dad and granddaddies and all that shit. That's a big ass tadpole swimming. But let's move on.
That's a highlight.
That was a bad place. Let's keep going.
Next here, the Detroit Lions. Folks, I know you're used to hearing the L's of the week in Detroit in one very specific area. But Detroit, on the winning side of this, they hung 36 points on the heads of the Washington Commanders. And damn it, if Morgan Brown was here right now, I would love to have
one of the 3 wins that Detroit's going to get for the season. I'm happy for
clearly we see where Shaq stands. What do you guys think about this win for the Detroit Lions?
I would just like to say again that the Detroit Lions have the number 2 offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
A hell of a lot better than your Pittsburgh Steelers, Shaq. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm sorry. Where does your team lie up on that?
Oh, they were way down there. Your team's not much better.
So I reinforced my.
Well, actually, as bad as my team is with scoring, I think that my team's only 3 teams behind Shaq's god-awful fucking squad, with Najee Harris only running for 2.9 yards a carry. And you got
Can we not talk about my team for half the fucking show? Can we do that?
Anyway, Detroit has the second highest scoring offense at 35.5 points. Like, who would have thought that ever would have happened, even if it's only 2 weeks, that Detroit would have that? Like, Mike Campbell must be eating, like, I want to know who he's sacrificing to eat their kneecaps to get this type of production out of Jared Goff. Because Jared Goff in that game was 20 for 34 with 256 yards and 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. You would have, like, up until last week, you would have only thought that Jared Goff would get that type of production with Sean McVay as his head coach. But Dan Campbell just chewing kneecaps, that offense, number 2 in the league, like, that's fucking crazy. Now, I really think that's why Morgan isn't on the show, because as much as he was saying he wasn't going to be on the show, and he's like, listen, man, I'm going to have to try to defend my Commanders, Washington football team, Redskins, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves. The fact that they lost to the Lions, that's just fucking crazy. But the biggest story with the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown. That guy is balling, and he deserves respect. He deserves a shout out on the show. He had 9 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 runs for 68 yards. That guy is balling. And you want to know what his projected stats are right now, Jalen?
Do tell.
Yeah, I know you probably don't want to know, but I'm going to tell you anyways. After 2 games, Amon-Ra St. Brown is projected to have 145 catches, 1,530 yards, and 26 touchdowns. That's what his projection is in Vegas right now. Is that not the most asinine fuckery of a projection you've ever heard in your life? And he plays for the Detroit Lions. You want to know what that tells me? In 5 years, he's going to prematurely retire, just like Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. So he's going to have a short career, so enjoy it while you can.
Well, Detroit, there's a bright side for you. Shout out to him, though, because he is balling right now. I got to give him that. I did watch all of Hard Knocks. He was one of the highlights, and he's living in Detroit, so I got to give him credit because it's probably not easy. So, next game. The 49ers did lose their starting quarterback, and then
God damn it.
did, of course, bring on their real quarterback and then beat the Seahawks 27-7. Figured this would be a heady one because there's a lot in this, but Trey Lance gone for the rest of the year. Nestor was really happy to find that out. His fantasy quarterback gone. And then I'm sure G Money and Malin were really happy for the outcome of the game. So
Wait, Trey, wait, you picked up Trey Lance as your quarterback?
He's blaming the algorithm.
I didn't choose. I wasn't there for the fantasy draft. I swear
There's
to God.
not an the only algorithm that has Trey Lance as being a good quarterback for you to pick up in the 16-team league has to exist in Shaq's head. Because it's out of this world. There's no rationale to pick up Trey Lance as your quarterback in fantasy league. But I will say this. If Trey Lance did not get hurt, then the 49ers still might be running for first downs against my Seahawks even right now. That might be happening. Because they were running all over the place. And it just sucks that we hurt the starting quarterback of the 49ers and we made him better.
Yeah.
That kind of pisses me off a little bit. And you want to know what else pisses me off a little bit more? The fact that inside of 10 yards, Seattle put out an offensive formation down 13-0 with 4 running backs. 4 fucking running backs. And they let the third string running back throw a pass in the double coverage for an interception. This is the same team that yesterday touted this stat about Geno Smith. That Geno Smith, the first quarterback in NFL history, 3 starts in a row dating back to last year against Jacksonville. He's thrown for over 80% of his passes in a game. He's the first one to ever do it. Throw for 80% of his passes in a game. That's great that he's done it. But we fucking sucked. So the same team that touted the fact that Geno Smith completes 80% of his passes let the third string running back throw a pass inside the 7-yard line. That's fucking stupid. So we deserve to lose that game.
Yeah, you guys have gone,
That was shit.
I think 6 quarters without scoring a touchdown. So that's.
Oh yes, we have.
Jesus.
Thank you for bringing that up.
That was Nestor.
6. That's Nestor?
He's just used to blaming you for shit.
You're bad news.
I'm used to Shaq brain. Yeah, no, the Seahawks have gone 6 quarters without scoring an offensive touchdown, even though Geno Smith has completed 80% of his passes in 2 straight games.
I thought our offense was bad.
So yeah, that's terrible.
I would like to say this: if y'all haven't noticed, Jalen has, for time's sake, has purposely skipped people on certain picks.
This segment is a volunteer, so if you don't want to give a take,
here's my
you don't
thing.
have to.
If you're gonna try and save time off of that, please don't pick Seattle as a subject, because we gotta spend 45 minutes to an hour on Seattle alone.
We didn't have a news segment, so
I talked for 5 minutes. That's all I did. The floor is your guys to talk about how bad my Seahawks are. I want to hear from you, Shaq. How bad are my Seahawks right now?
They are very bad. Like you said, it is a handful of teams that are worse than my team when it comes to being statistic-wise. It's going to be your team, so I'm just happy that your team exists right now to make me feel a little better with my team. But you keep doing what y'all doing. I still got high hopes for y'all. I got Geno Smith sitting on the bench. I'm hoping that he does well.
You
Let
don't
that-
have high hopes for us.
No, he does not.
Look,
Just lie out your ass.
and y'all can't let me do that without trying to calm me out.
I want to hear what I want to hear what G Money thinks about this game, because he's a Seahawks fan too.
Yeah, it was an ugly game. I didn't expect us to win the game, but I thought we would cover the points. And there was always a chance that if everything broke our way, we might. But let's be honest, we couldn't stop the runs that they were doing. We didn't control the edges. We didn't run ourselves, whether that was because we didn't want to or we just straight up couldn't. And Geno is is a game manager. That's what he is. That's what he has been. And that's where you miss Russ. Russ would have thrown the deep ball a few times. He would have gotten sacked a few times, and people would have yelled and screamed. But high likelihood he would have hit DK Metcalf 50 yards down the field for a touchdown or lock it. Our offense, it's bad when you have to put gimmicks in just to score. That's basically saying that my base offense isn't that good. And it's not. I mean, I was hoping we might win 8 games this season, but I was prepared that we wouldn't. And I know that Geno is the quarterback for this year. He's not going to be our quarterback next year. He may be the backup, but he will not be the starter. It's whoever we're going to draft in the first round. We got a lot of young people starting on defense and on offense, and I like the O-line. I think it's going to be probably the best offensive line we've had since probably the early aughts when we had Walter Jones. You know, we had the group we went to the Super Bowl with. And yes, we lost the Steelers because they cheated. But still, that was probably the best O-line we had.
Damn right, Shaq.
All right.
So, okay, so I do have one more question before we move on. Right. I got one more question.
He's throwing another game.
No, hold on. This question is for Nestor.
That's not moving.
Because you used the word pathetic to describe your 2-0 Dolphins. Pitiful.
The first half was pitiful. It was pitiful.
So,
get it right.
What word would you use to describe my Seattle Seahawks after 2 games?
Pathetic.
Damn. Pitiful and pathetic.
G Money, what word would you just use to describe this?
You bastard.
They lost Trey Lance, and then got a guy from.
Expected. You looked at the team before preseason, and you knew that they number one, you knew they weren't a playoff contender. You knew that, and they're showing you that. So it's not that they're pathetic. It's expected.
Pathetic.
This is what you're expecting from them. I mean, it would be different if this was 4 years ago and we looked like this. Then yes, we would be pathetic.
This is why we're
But
here
when you're, I mean, it's like, I mean, when you're in a rebuilding mode, you can't be pathetic. You can be, you can expect to be bad, and that's what you expect to be. You don't expect to. What you expect to do is compete, but you don't expect to be good. I mean, that's something different. When you have 2 rookie tackles, when you have a second-year guard, a new center, a backup quarterback starting. Pathetic? No. You expect them to be like this. These are expectations. You keep expectations in check. You don't. After the first game, you don't go, God damn, we're gonna go freaking 12-5. No, you're not. No, not at all. I mean, if we were the Rams and we looked like that, yeah, pathetic, because you just won the Super Bowl.
I would pretty much say that we're inept over the fact that we're supposed to be a running team under Pete Carroll. Yet we only had 6 carries with Rashad Penny. So I would say inept. But Nestor, I don't know.
You guys lost against a team that lost their starting QB and then got a guy off.
And he won't be back all year. So we're going to go ahead and move on.
What did Nestor say?
You guys lost against the guy that lost their starting QB and then picked the guy off of Love Island.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they lost their. The Niners lost their starting QB, but we made them better by them losing their starting QB.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, we did. We really.
They are so much better with Jimmy G than they are with Trey Lance, and I don't know why that Shanahan. And can we just point out that Shanahan, when he was asked about Jimmy G, he said he looked good. He's still handsome. How disrespectful can you be? Like, how much does Shanahan hate?
Sweet Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and God.
I don't know. Does he hate him, or is he looking and going, he's a pretty damn good guy. Now, I like him. I could date him if I'm not married.
Maybe a pretty good looking guy, but I'm just like, when they ask you, hey, how good did Jimmy G look in that game? He said, yeah, he looked good. He's still handsome. I'm like, how much do you hate this man? Like,
do you hate him or do you have a crush on him? Maybe Shanahan has like this little love boy crush on him.
Allegedly.
That's why he didn't want him playing.
All I know is that Shanahan has a 69% winning percentage with Garoppolo and a 40% winning percentage without Garoppolo. So he should be thanking his lucky stars over the fact that we hurt Trey Lance. Now I feel bad for Trey Lance, but he's a terrible QB. So, I don't know. Big L for my team, Jalen. I feel good about it. Thank you for bringing it up. I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
now
okay.
that we got through the Seahawks hour, there is one more game to mention on the L's of the week, and that is, of course, the Bills against the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football. 41-7 was the final score, I think. I mean, all this showed to me that the Bills are still, but they are the best team in the NFL by far, hands down, not even close. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are just, it's their world. Everybody else is living in it.
All I would say is that Josh Allen, I think, is the best QB right now, number one. And number two, I mean, it's warranted because they are the best team right now in the NFL. So
I couldn't hear Nestor. Nestor, put the mic up a little bit. Say that again. I couldn't hear
Josh
that.
Allen is the best QB right now.
Right.
Even over Tua, I have to say.
Strong second.
And they have the best team in the NFL, so it's warranted. I don't think that's an L
No.
Still
I
in the
mean, I
offense,
think
but yeah.
I think it's more the ineptitude of the Titans. I mean, everyone knows that the Bills are good, but the fact that Tannehill went 11 of 20 for 117 and 2 interceptions. And Haskins, I don't even know Haskins' first name, but I know that he's a running back for the Titans, and he rushed for 9 carries for 37 yards, and that was better than Henry's 13 carries for 25 yards. Like, what the fuck are they doing over there in Tennessee? And I'm a little bit butthurt because I have Henry and so I'm a little bit upset about that. But
I feel like it's that
think
stadium.
yeah, when one team has 414 yards of offense and the other doesn't even break 200, and one team has 0 turnovers and the other has 4 turnovers, and one team has 23 first downs and the other team only has 12, you're going to get your ass kicked. So, yeah, Buffalo is the best team in the NFL, but Tennessee was embarrassed in that game. They should have been able to put up a better fight.
See.
Yeah, if there's any
feel
other
like-
game more embarrassing than the Seattle game, it would have been this game.
God
Oh,
damn!
Seattle hour is over.
I don't think there was a more embarrassing game than that one. But
Shit, chat.
No,
Let's
there was
not
not.
act
There's
like
nothing
you
else
didn't
more
just
embarrassing than
lose
that.
to
There's
the
that.
Patriots. God damn. This man has Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, and he's throwing my team under the fucking bus.
I mean, Shaq loses to a team whose quarterback is Mac and Cheese Jones, who doesn't throw more than a 20-yard pass.
you lost by 3 points.
Shut the fuck up.
What? 3 points. 3 whole points is what we lost by. Who's y'all quarterback?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that I don't think you need to bring Seattle into this. Shaq, God damn it!
Yeah, like
I'm
we-
talking about Seattle. You did this, forehead. God damn it!
Show his cancer.
Not the treatable kind either.
It's terminal.
The one they bring you on stage for the draft for.
God damn it.
It's like you won't make it the regular season, but come on.
All right, let's get out of this fucking segment. Jesus
Let's get into
Christ.
Ride or Die in 55.
The longest section of this fucking show.
Yeah, let's come on. Let's get real here.
Yes, the longest portion of this show. Here we go.
Now, this is what you all came here for, to hear some good
I hope
fucking
not.
picks.
Hopefully I didn't wait 3 hours to come sit here for this segment.
So this is, of course, the Ride or Die in 5. That is 5 minutes, 5 Earth minutes. This is where we give our...
Can I just say something? That Shaq's head is so big he can't even tell time. We said 3 hours and we haven't even been on air for 2 hours. So.
You're right.
Shaq is in a different stratosphere right now.
Getting all
That's because
kinds of...
Shaq's forehead's in a different time zone.
He's in Central.
The fact that we started this show like 9:35 and
He's
it's
in
almost 11:20.
Oceanic, if you ask me.
And I love the look that Nestor just gave Shaq. Like, shit, he just clowned you, but yeah, he's kind of right. That was a good look. So let's go ahead and get into the Ride or Die.
And this is exactly why this segment is long. 5 fucking minutes.
So, yes, this is where we give our betting predictions for 5 games coming up this weekend. Our records are as follows. Malin is leading the charge at 87-48. He went 0-5 last week, a rough week. He's still plus 39.
Still leading. We're still ahead.
Still ahead. I am still in second place at 101-76. I went 2-3 last week, plus 25. Shaq, 89-86, also went 2-3 last week, plus 3. G Money, 4-6. Oh, he also went 0-5 last week. He is -2 right now. It was a rough week for really all of us, but more so than some of us.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, over that zero.
Shaq, would you like to say anything?
I can't hear them over that zero. That if you just trying to go from last week.
First of all, that was a really humbling week for me because I lost in all my fantasy leagues.
Me too.
I tied.
5. And shut up, Shaq. I would Morgan. That's a loss. My Mariners lost 3 straight games Friday through Sunday.
Not at all.
The only bright spot to me was my Washington Huskies beating Michigan State, the number 11 team.
Okay.
Team in the
All
country.
right.
That's the only thing I had going for me. It was very humbling. But I would just like to point out again that Jalen did point out that I'm still number 1.
You are still number 1.
Which means that I lost every game last week. And I'm still better than everybody. So
All right.
let's go ahead and keep talking.
Stay humble.
Humble on this show does not mix very well.
No, not
That's
at all.
not in my vernacular.
And this is a prime example. A man that went like 0-5 last week and still be like, "Fuck, oh yeah, I'm still the best."
Well.
I am.
Oh, exactly the
Man.
point.
Speaking of the best, we have 2 of the AFC's finest starting off week 3 in the NFL tomorrow night, 8:15. Folks, set your alarms. Steelers, barn burner. The Steelers and the Browns, 2 explosive offenses, squaring off on Thursday Night Football. Pittsburgh Steelers and Mitch Trubisky, 4.5-point underdogs at the Cleveland Brown Keebler Elves, where the money line was plus 172 for the Steelers. Shaq, this being your team, what do you like in this?
First of all, I don't like the underlying tone of this whole segment.
Remember that Chiefs-Rams Monday night game? I'm thinking this is going to be about the same.
All right, okay. Come from the man that only beat us by 3 points, so I barely.
And hey, 3 points is all we needed, baby.
They'll be telling these girls the same exact thing. But all right. Better luck next time. But anyway, since y'all like to be belittling to my team, and I hate picking my teams in these godforsaken ride or die fives.
Part of the business.
But I will pick my team.
Damn mother son of a.
The fuck you expect to say? The Browns beat my team? No, I'm gonna take my team to beat them. Am I still up to money line?
You can, because they are not favored to win. So
okay, I take my Steelers still on the money line.
There we go
to win this game. All y'all don't calm the fuck now. Y'all just be mistreat me any which way on this show. I deserve an appreciation week on this fucking show. Appreciation week. There should be a whole entire episode that y'all can't roast me, and I get treated right whole week.
that's when we're all dead and you can host the show by yourself.
I feel like that's completely outside of my character. I
I did nothing to y'all this week but defend myself, and somehow I still get mistreated. But Steelers money line, I say we win this fucking game. The Browns just got this shit like blown out like a cheap prostitute last week, so I'm in.
Okay.
It's tough.
You got disrespect prostitutes like that.
So,
They got
okay,
families
Shaq,
too.
Shaq, I do have a question for you. Why would you not take the 4.5 points?
Because that was his pick. Malin, what's yours?
I'm just saying. You got 4.5 points. Why would you not take the 4.5 points? I don't know. Okay. I'm not going next. Nestor can go next. I was over
Nestor?
last week.
Steelers.
Are you also joining your brethren and taking the money line, or are you
Don't try
going
to don't try to group-
or are you taking the sensible option in the 4.5
Najee's
points?
gonna be like break out this game, so he's gonna recover.
So what does that mean? Are you taking the points, or are you taking Shaq's money line?
Oh, don't tell me. I
What
wanna
is
be
going
different.
on over here?
Nestor, take the points. Nestor. Take the points.
I'll just go next.
You can
I'm
always
taking
change-
Pittsburgh
you
and
can
the
always
4.5
cha-
points.
You can always change that if you want to take the points. Because I can tell you, everybody else is going to take the points.
The moment we move on to the next game, you cannot change a goddamn thing.
I
I'm
know,
just
we
letting
still
you
on
know.
the game. Still on this game. I'm just letting you know.
No. Shaq does not get to take the points. Shaq bet money line.
I'm still saying the money
said
line. I'm just trying to convince Nestor of the better option because I'm ignorant and like to choose my team in all worst case scenarios. But
Mainland, you're a sensible man.
there you go. Now-
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it for a second, gentlemen.
No.
This is why it's the right of 955 because we've been talking about some stuff.
155.
First of all, 70% of the money is on Pittsburgh because it is Baltimore. Okay. Both teams are 1-1 against the spread. The Steelers are 4-0 against the spread in the last 4 divisional opponents. Doesn't really say much because they had Big Ben for 2 of those. The Browns, though, are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games at home, and I don't really think it really fucking matters if Baker Mayfield or Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback. It's pretty much the same offense. You gotta go with the fact that the Steelers are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. And if you're giving them 4.5 points, as much as I don't like to do it, I gotta take the 4.5 with Pittsburgh, even though it makes my butt cheeks pucker a little bit, because it makes me nervous.
G Money.
Yeah, definitely Pittsburgh in the 4.5. This season, obviously, the Browns are 0-1 at home against the spread. Let's face it, Baker Mayfield still has the keys to the stadium. He's the one that painted that evil fucking elf on the field, and until they remove it, they're not gonna cover.
A little curse that G Money's bringing up. Okay. So, Shaq and Nestor are taking the Pittsburgh money line.
That, the 4.5.
You're now switching.
Yes. Before we move on.
Wait,
to
who's
next one.
switching?
Nestor is switching.
Just because Shaq went with the Steelers.
he can switch. We're still in the game, so he can switch.
I refuse to. I'm a hard-headed individual, clearly, but
All right, so Shaq's
yeah,
taking the
clearly.
Pittsburgh.
Sorry, Shaq.
You got video evidence to that. All right, so Nestor is now taking the points.
Yes, there's Team Shaq and there's Team Brain.
I still somehow end up on both ends of the spectrum, regardless.
Shit. What are you taking there, Jalen?
Oh, I'm taking the points. You know, we could all be right, which is kind of the ironic part.
We
Just
could.
watch Shaq.
Just some of us might have a smarter bet than other people.
But if I win this bet, somehow I'm the.
We could all be wrong.
So,
we could all be wrong.
Jalen, can I introduce the second one because I have some news to throw out there before people make their bets?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the second one that we have is Baltimore -3 points against New England +3 points, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I just want to throw this out there to everybody before you make your pick that Lamar Jackson was wearing a protective sleeve on the throwing arm, and he did not throw to wide receivers in practice yesterday. So, with that information,
It sure does.
go ahead and make your bets.
I was praying your news was not going to have anything to do with New England Patriots, so thank God. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns on this one. It just makes me feel even better. Please give me those sweet 3 points in my New England Patriots at home. Somehow, some way, this will be a close game. Probably won't be a rainstorm like the last time we played them at home, but you know, if Lamar's in a little sleeve right now, that just helps us out even more. So Give me the points in my Patriots at home. Nestor, who do you like in this
Same
game?
thing.
Okay.
What I just said.
A man of class and stature. G Money?
I don't even know what Nestor said, but based on what you said, I feel like he took New England in points.
He did.
I'm actually, even with a sleeve, I'm going to take Baltimore minus the 3.
Money.
What's
going
until
on?
New England really shows me something overall, it's just kind of hard because I don't know what they have. I know what they have offensively. I mean, let's face it, they played Pittsburgh. And, defensively, I'm not quite sure what they have either because, the last game was against Pittsburgh. I mean, heck, Appalachian State could have played Pittsburgh and
God,
held
I
you
love
14 points.
I love it.
Or Seattle.
I need Shat to go next before I go.
First of all, they could have played Seattle, clearly, apparently, and still would have won that game. Balls out, but y'all just disrespectful because y'all can be. I'm going to go ahead and pick New England. I agree with Jalen with New England.
Amen.
Yes, I'm totally agreeing. So I'm going to let y'all slide on that one. It's okay.
All right. Jalen, do you want to change your pick?
If it was any other team but mine, I probably would. But
I would just like to point this out. The Patriots are 0-3 and 1 against the spread in the last 4 games. That's going into last year. I understand that. But they're 0-2 against the spread this year. Okay. And somebody answer me this question. Have the Patriots scored over 20 points yet this year?
sure haven't.
No. Have the Ravens scored over 20 points this year?
They sure have.
Okay. So I'm taking Baltimore with a -3. Mainly because I still think that the Patriots are playing it safe with the offense. Matt Jones at quarterback, they still don't feel comfortable kind of unleashing him in the offense, and Devontae Parker hasn't really done much to give a whole lot of credence to that offense is going to be able to score a whole lot of points. And listen, Lamar Jackson just this last week, even though they lost the Dolphins, but the Dolphins were able to score more than 20 points, is the first quarterback in NFL history to have a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown over 75 yards. So I kind of feel like Lamar Jackson is going to do enough to cover the 3 points on that game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens.
All right. So next game we have. All right, here we go. We got the Buffalo Bills going down to Miami. Bills 5.5 point favorites. This is at 1 o'clock. We got a few good 1 o'clock games this Sunday. The Miami money line plus 184 for those that are interested. Tempting. So let's start off with Nestor. Your own team here. What do you like?
As much as a Miami fan I am, I don't think Miami will
Microphone up, dude.
That I don't think. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I don't think Miami will overcome that Bills defense. So yeah, I'm taking the Bills on that one. Definitely. Points.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Nestor is at least being honest. Take that. Malin.
Well, this is the hardest game that you picked, Jalen, and you are really good at picking these games. I must say, you are
Oh,
like
thank you, sir.
you pick some of the hardest games to do the over/under point spread, all that stuff, because both of them are 2-0 against the spread. The Bills are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 games in September. The Dolphins are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games in September. And they're also 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games. So it really kind of takes the spread out of it. You really got to kind of think, what team is doing better on the defensive side of the ball? And the Buffalo Bills have only allowed 17 points. And they played the reigning Super Bowl champs, and they played the number 1 seed in the AFC last year, and they've only given up 17 points. And so I gotta take Buffalo with the 5.5 because they've been blowing everybody out, and until they don't blow people out, I kind of gotta ride with them.
All right. G Money.
Yeah, when you look at Buffalo and you look at Miami, Miami is up and coming. Buffalo's already there. Wide receivers might want to give the edge a little bit to Miami. Running backs, definitely Buffalo. Quarterback, definitely Buffalo. Defense, definitely Buffalo. Buffalo covers. I take Buffalo minus the 5.5.
Shaq.
Shit.
I'm gonna go ahead and beat the opposition and say I'm gonna pick the Miami to go with that with the 5.5. I say
Right.
they really
So
feel.
goddamn glad you did that.
I'm saying that they really feeling themselves after last week's victory, coming back from behind and win this game. They're really Tua's really in sync with his receivers now. He's get that confidence boost that he really needs.
Hold on. You said Miami's winning this game, or is taking the 5.5 points for Miami?
I say Miami's winning this game.
Shaq, you dog. You dog.
Yes! I love it. This is how I make the comeback, people. This is how I make the comeback. This is how it happens.
Watch Miami
Shaq isn't
win.
even taking the point. Shaq is just going straight up.
Fuck it.
I swear to God.
My God,
This man is no risk it, no biscuit. I
Stop
love it,
it.
Shaq. I love it.
When have you
I
learned
love
that
it.
I have never been just 100% about risking every single pick? It's like, how am I gonna be the number one if I agree with this man all the time?
This man is the Baker Mayfield of picks. I love it, man. It is just fucking phenomenal. I love that pick for you, Shaq. Love it. God, I'm so happy.
I am going to agree with the rest of the AFR crew here and go with the Buffalo Bills to cover the 5.5.
Miami or die.
Okay, first of all, Shaq, if you have to say Miami or die, you're on the wrong end.
Yeah.
That's not a place you want to be.
Well.
But you're there, and I applaud you, sir. So, God bless you
It's going to be an interesting Sunday.
in your endeavors.
Next game, we have a little quick switch here. We were supposed to have somebody on the show who's not here, so that game.
Damn it. Garrett,
Oh,
G Money,
Logan.
I'm sorry. G Money, I'm sorry. They're making a switch.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
okay.
Yep.
What you switching to?
We will no longer be doing the Eagles and Commanders. We will be picking the
Okay.
Packers and the Bucks.
Oh, I like that one.
Yes, here in Tampa. Tampa is favored by 1.5 points. And the Green Bay Packers money line is... Actually, I don't know what it is. I didn't put that down. But that doesn't really matter right now. 1.5 is the spread. So, with that being said, has anybody not gone first in this? Malin, have you gone first?
No, I can go first on this one. Thank you for only giving me like 2 hours heads up. It's not like I do any show prep at all. That's fine. But when you're talking about Tampa minus 1.5 against Green Bay at Tampa, I'm going to go ahead and take Green Bay in this game because I do not have faith in Tampa's offense without Mike Evans for a whole game. Now, Green Bay's offense was inept in the first game. They kind of showed what they could do kind of against Chicago. I'm not thinking this is going to be a barn burner of a game. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of points, but I think Green Bay is going to win this game, and I'm going to go ahead and take the 1.5 points that they give me. But at the same token, like Vegas always gives the home team 3 points. And so anytime that the home team doesn't have minus 3 points, that gives me cause to pause and concern about whether or not the home team is going to win that game. So I'm taking the Packers on this one. And it's not the playoffs. Tom Brady owns Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, but you know.
To make my quick and brief, I also agree with Melon in this process. The Bucks are in a vulnerable stage right now, so I'm going to go ahead and say Green Bay's could take this, and I agree with Melon.
I am going to go on the opposite side. Not just because Shaq, of course, agreed, but
am I allowed to change my pick?
you are, as long as we're still talking about this game. So there's that. Yeah, I think that
I'm not gonna do it, but god damn it, Shaq.
last time Rodgers was here, it was a blowout. I mean, last few times these guys have played against each other, Brady has gotten the best of them. Yeah, I just feel like Brady kind of goes out of his way to make sure that he beats Aaron Rodgers when he needs to, and I think this will be just another time, especially since this is probably the last time these two will play each other. The Bucks, I think, just somehow, some way will win this by about a field goal and cover that 1.5. So give me the Bucks at home with that 1.5 to cover. So, Nestor.
I hate to say it, but no, actually I don't. But Green Bay, yeah.
Okay.
I
Green
feel.
Bay. G Money.
So correct me if I'm wrong here, but Mike Evans has been suspended one game.
Yep.
Goodwin is still out. Julio Jones is out.
Already.
They signed Cole Beasley, whose claim to fame was that he was like the 4th wide receiver on a bad Cowboys team.
Well, no, he was the number 2 or 3 wide receiver on Buffalo last year. Let's give Beasley a little bit of credit. Little white boys need some shine.
You meant credit. He was. I mean, obviously he wasn't good enough for Buffalo to keep him. And they're a passing offense.
They didn't want to get vaccinated either, so New York.
Yeah. And
But
so
in Florida, we will get
actually
Exactly.
there we go. And as we've seen Tom Brady bust 2 iPads because his receivers, he's been down a receiver, then down 2 receivers. Now he's down all his receivers. Who the hell is he going to throw to? Jalen, I'll put this to you. When Brady was in New England, the year that he had no wide receivers, they were all a bunch of no-names, he was not a happy camper. He's not going to be a happy camper now. And he's not going to hit anybody. Normally, I would take Tampa because Aaron Rodgers is I believe, and I'm not mistaken, 2-5 in Florida.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Green Bay and the 1.5. I think the money line on Brady smashing another iPad is 350. So you might want to jump on that.
Well, let's go ahead and give sponsorships their due. It's actually the Microsoft Surface Pro. It's not the iPad. But you are right. Seeing Tom Brady smashing tablets on the sideline was crazy. And they were in a dogfight in New Orleans, tied at 3 apiece. Were they not? Until
Yes,
Lattimore. I'm pretty sure that Lattimore said something about Tom Brady and his marriage with Giselle, and that's why they got into the little tiff. And then, Mike Evans decided, you know what, fuck you, I got submitted 2019. Let's go and double up on that. So he decided to push him to the ground. But you are right. Like the fact that Tom Brady. Like, can you name outside of Beasley? Can you name another receiver that he's throwing to? Because he doesn't have Evans, he doesn't have Godwin, he doesn't have Gronkowski this year. Like, who's he throwing the ball to?
I mean, you guys are in Tampa. They've got to be saying, "Hey, these are his wide receivers who's going to be okay."
They're not saying that. They're not.
They're not.
That's not
Tom
no.
Brady a bust.
I see a lot of
hitching
Leonard
their-
Fournette in the flat.
Yeah, they are hitching their wagon on a 45-year-old that's smashing tablets on the sideline that isn't even living with his wife because his supermodel wife that makes more money with him is so fucking mad at him that he came back that she's living in Miami and he's living in Tampa. So, I mean, there's a lot of unhappy people in Tampa right now. And I'm all for it. I love it. I love it. I love all of it. It's great. Wonderful.
All right, last but not least, we do have the Atlanta Falcons going to Seattle.
I would just like to say that you can go fuck yourself for picking this
Okay.
game.
Malin and G Money will be attending this game in Seattle. And the Seattle Seahawks are, of course, favored by 1.5. G Money, what do you like in this one?
I'm going to take Seattle and the 1.5. The two games that Atlanta's played, Merida doesn't throw deep. He does not throw deep. He's a dink and dunk passer, 15 yards or less, usually doing slants, crossing routes, or curls, and he runs. So he's a step above Trey Lance. My thought is if we control the edges on defense, we'll shut him down. And I think this is where we get back. As much as they want to let Geno cook, I think they're going to be more of a run-heavy team this game. And then have Geno take his shots when they're available. I don't think they're open up having Geno throw 40, 50-yard bombs. I think they're going to be running Penny and Walker a lot. And then when the tight ends and everything are open and when the wide receivers are open, he's going to hit them.
Right, Malin?
So Seattle plus.
No, don't go to me. Go to Shaq. I picked him the last time.
Shaq.
I'm gonna agree with G Money on this one.
You mother.
I picked first. You can't blame me for that one.
Son of a sea biscuit.
Seattle's gonna
I
win.
don't like you.
All right, Seattle's got to get one at some point in time, and I feel like this is a game for them. So
at some point in time,
I love you, but I don't like you. Like, I hope you stub your toe before you leave.
I don't even know that.
I have to also be lumped into this bucket. 1.5 at home. I just see Seattle winning this by at least a good field goal or so. So yeah, say they cover the points. Nestor.
Same. Seattle wakes up.
Oh,
And,
boy.
they win.
Malin.
What did Nestor say? Does
He agreed.
Put the mic up to his head?
He did. He agreed.
He agreed with you? God, you, all of you, can just kiss my 41-year-old ass. I hate this, Jalen, because I'm going to be at the fucking game on Sunday. Like, I'm going to be in the stands on Sunday, and you want me.
And you're going to root for Atlanta? Is that what you're telling us? You're going to root for Atlanta?
I don't want to, and because all of you other dumb motherfuckers want to go ahead and pick Seattle, I figure we all might as well go down with the ship, even though the smart money says to pick Atlanta. But
Yikes.
if we're all going to lose, let's all lose. No, I'm just saying, like, is Seattle scored a touchdown in the last 6 quarters? Nestor said it.
No.
Have they? They haven't.
No,
Negative.
they have not.
They have not. Is Atlanta scored 53 points in 2 games? Did they put the defending Super Bowl champs on the ropes and lost 31-28? Yeah, you're damn right they did. That's an offense that can score points. And Seattle is going to play conservative. And I don't like it. I don't like the pick, Jalen. I see that smile on your goddamn face right now. That smug motherfucking smile that you have. But because everybody else picks Seattle, and I'm not going to lose it if I don't pick Seattle. But I'm going to pick Seattle, but I don't fucking like it. Because I'm not going to I'm not going to pay $150. Hey, what are we paying? G Money, are we paying $150? No, it's like $200.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it's like $200.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $200 to sit in the stands and hope that Atlanta wins so that we cover the
There
fucking
you go.
point spread. You son of a bitch, you put me in this position. I'm picking Seattle, but I don't like it, and I still think that we're all going to look fucking stupid at the end of it. But I'm taking Seattle because I'm not going to let Seattle win and me be mad about the fact that they fucking won. So I'm taking Seattle. But God, if I could kick you right now and pull my groin muscle doing it, I would do it, Jalen. I swear to God, I would. I would do it in a heartbeat because that was just mean. You knew that I was going to beat this game. God, mother. And of course, Shaq had to agree with all of us. If I could kick that guy, I'd kick him in the fucking head too. All of you, everybody combined, I'd kick everybody in the head. Well, you know what? I can't put my foot into lunar orbit, Shaq. So your head is safe. Everybody else, they're within striking distance. But damn it, that just makes me mad that this is even a game that we're even picking right now because I'm going to be there. And of course, I want the Seahawks to win when I pay $200 to be there. But if Atlanta wins, oh, so help me, mother of... Ooh,
I'm not hear the end of this.
This man's gonna come back to this show.
I will blame Shaq so hard.
Look, the rest of us didn't pick the same exact shit.
I would also just like to point out before we end this show that Russell Wilson is doing terrible at Denver right now, so that makes me feel better about myself. He's basically playing a little bit better than a dog would with 3 legs and has cancer. That like Russell Wilson played a little bit better than that. And I'm really excited about it because when the Denver Broncos are in the red zone, they've had 22 plays, and 18 of those 22 plays have been passing plays. And there's been 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 48% passing from Russell Wilson. So those bastards can let it ride with that. So I'll be happy with that. But Jalen, I'm looking at you with the fact that you made me pick this game. I am not happy.
All
right
of our
now.
teams were included in this segment, so I figured it was only right.
Only wrong is what it was.
Nonsense.
But
Hey, we'll see come Sunday.
sure. Yeah.
We will see.
Listen, I want the Seahawks to win. I'm just saying that the stats don't necessarily back it up, but I'm going with my team anyways because the rest of you dumbasses are picking them anyways, and I don't know what that means for the intelligence level on this show. But
Right where
yeah,
it needs to be. Average.
Let's ride with the Seahawks at 1.5 points. Jesus.
Amen. All right, folks. Anything else we would like to mention before we call it quits?
I'd like to mention that it's not even 12 o'clock and we're getting out of this.
It ain't done yet.
You got like 6 minutes. You want to make it a little longer?
I'm just throwing it out there that Shaq is always talking shit about how long the show is, and look at us.
Talking about how short the show is and still dragging it on.
It's so basically 2.5 hours, per usual.
We talked about 9 out of 16 games last week. Like, that's over 50% of the games last week. I think we did good on it.
And we had Nestor on the whole show. Throw that in there.
Damn right. Even though Nestor, I think he said a combined 18 words the whole show.
Well, it was a good 18.
But
it was a good 18 words.
The Seahawks will win. That's good.
Yes,
not going to do that.
Nestor, I like your confidence in that, Nestor.
Not going to do that.
I like
going
it.
to go there.
But Nestor also called his own team pitiful. So,
Or Drake London might have the best game of his life.
We're not gonna say that.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week. Come 9:30.
I'm just saying.
9:30 p.m. on YouTube. We will be on this streaming live to y'all. Y'all can continue to watch this.
Well, hold on.
All right.
Nestor
Tried.
is following the whole Shaq thing to where Shaq shits on his team every chance he gets. And Nestor has the number 1 quarterback in the league with passing yards, number 1, number 3 wide receiver in the league in yards, and he called him pitiful. So I just want to let everybody know that, because next week Nestor is going to be in the chat saying "Go Dolphins" and Tua for MVP. But you heard it from his mouth.
Yep.
They suck.
Super Bowl bound.
All right.
Yeah, you gotta believe in your team, especially when they're 2-0.
He doesn't believe in his team. That's the problem. I'm a
I mean,
fan this week, which is everything that's wrong in this
This
world.
fucker. It's just talking because he can.
Okay.
All
We're
right,
going to get
let's
out of
go ahead and
here.
Get out of here, people.
Oh,
Love
but
you
I
guys.
said it 4 minutes ago. We were just like, oh.
Don't let me hear what you say, Shaq.
We got a whole Anne
All right,
Frank novel to
everybody.
share with everybody else.
See you all
Peace out.
next
We'll
week.
see you guys at episode 104.
Peace.
peace.